Hi children, our topic is Annie Besant. Annie Besant, she was known as Shwetha Saraswati in India. Shwetha means white. Saraswati we know, Vidya Saraswati, the goddess of learning. She was from Europe, no? Annie Besant was from Ireland. So people in India called her Shwetha Saraswati. She was synonymous with our goddess of learning from the viewpoint of many learned people in India. The reason being, she came to India when she was 46 years old. She was from Ireland. She came to Madras. Her headquarters became the center from where she started spreading her messages. She has stood for universal brotherhood, irrespective of religions, irrespective of the continents from where you hail. We all belong to one family, that is universal. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This had been foretold in our Vedas. Vasudhaiva, Vasudhe, this universe, this earth and the people on it and all the animals and plants, not only human beings, animals and plants, we all belong to one Kutumba family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We should act, behave, participate in such a way as if we all belong to one single family. So when she came to India and she started studying the Vedas here, Upanishads here, with the help of Indian gurus, she came to know that India had a rich foundation. That too, something which had evolved 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. She felt, oh, I should have come to India much before. Whatever it be, let me stay here. Let me study further. She studied Bhagwat Gita too, and Bhagwat Gita she felt as if the words that came from the mouth of Bhagavan Sri Krishna is something final in their meaning, understanding and message. She goes through it. She studies, she contacts people around, and Madras was the right place. She was able to get Pandits with whom she sat, and she derived pleasure from knowing what was hidden in Bhagavad Gita. It did not stop there. She decided this religious text, mouthpiece of Hindu Dharma, should be translated into English. She translated Bhagavad Gita into English, and that turned quite famous everywhere. See, a lady who came from Ireland, she felt that there is a lot of essence in Bhagavad Gita, and it is a text to be translated into English and taken to all nooks and corners of the world. She had studied Christianity, Bible. She had studied various sects of different dharmas, but the European humanitarian settlements there in Europe, and thinking of the people and what the governments had aimed, she felt they are all materialistic. People are going behind materialism. They are going behind wealth. They are going behind money. Industrialization too had taken place in Europe. She did not find meaning in all that. There's a limit. Wealth is not the ultimate. Mental peace, universal brotherhood, how you live among people is the key aspect, most important aspect. She got the needed material and message when she came to India. She abhorred the materialistic approach of the Western philosophy. She adhered to the Vedanta philosophy of India. We can call that as materialistic. Ours is Vedanta philosophy. And she started spreading everywhere. She went round. The essence of life is hidden in your Vedanta. Why do you look towards Europe? Everything is here in the Indian soil. Though she was born Irish, she turned to be an Indian. A true Indian she became. And here, most of our freedom fighters too, learned people like Tilak, Gandhiji, and others, they have developed a lot of respect for this great lady. Great lady. Before coming to India, she had married a priest there, church priest. But later, she divorces him and comes to India. She divorced that man, the priest there, and she came to India. He was a priest, her husband was a priest in an Anglican church who had deep trust and faith in the Bible. She came to India in 1889. She was born in the year 1847. In 1889 she came to India. Then she never looked back. She kept aside her entire life for the study of Indian Vedanta and going for a critical analysis of the same. She advocated Indian culture and she said, this Indian culture is far more superior compared to the European culture, the Western culture. What was the reason she gave? I told you. Western culture is based on materialism. Indian culture is based on Vedanta. She started a movement here in India. She compared Hinduism with Buddhism. She drew the best from both of them. She was open-minded. She was rational. She was quite logical. And her contribution to the Indian philosophy was something great. You call it as theology, study of world religions, philosophies, science, and comparing these and trying to take out the essence. This is known as theology. The study is theology. She was a theologist. And she's backed the Theosophical movement in India. That movement had been started by Blavatsky, Madam Blavatsky, and Colonel H.S. Olcott. They had started the Theosophical movement. But once Annie Besant came and started handling this movement, it gained acceleration. Then she started home rule movement here. Home rule, you can call it a Swadeshi movement, you know it. Let's rule ourselves. Let's not be dependent on others. We should be able to stand on our own and build our life. Don't be dependent on others. So this is what is called as Swadeshi, home rule movement. How did she get inspired to take up home rule movement in India? Quite interesting again. Ireland, today it is a free country. Today it is a republic. But then, in the 19th century, it was a colony of Britain. The British ruled it. The British imperialistic attitude had taken away the freedom of the Irish people. So Ireland was under the rule of the British. Home rule movement had taken shape in Ireland then. In small scale home rule movement had started there. People were insisting, we don't want to be under the British, we will rule ourselves, we want to be free, we want to be independent. That's where she had got inspired when she came to India. She thought India should become independent, it should have its own rule. So she started with home rule movement in India. Home rule movement in India. Her headquarters had been Madras. Tilak had lot of trust and belief in Annie Besant. So she offers to lead this movement in the western part of India. There's the northern part of Karnataka, present Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat area. In the western part of India, Tilak led home rule movement. In the eastern part of India, around Madras, areas around Madras, Annie Besant took the leadership. So now, home rule movement started spreading everywhere. Even Gandhiji backed it. Gandhiji speaks in appreciation. Annie Besant starts two papers, two journalistic adventures she takes up. The two papers were New India and Commonwealth. One was New India, the other one was Commonwealth. Tilak, you see the comparative, see, Tilak started another two newspapers. Pune had been his headquarters. One was Maratha. Maratha was published in English. Kesari was published in Marathi. So Tilak started two papers, Maratha and Kesari, because the message of the Theosophical Society has to be publicized. It has to reach the masses. And Annie Besant started two newspapers, India and Commonwealth. Mammoth work everywhere under the Theosophical Society. I told you what is Theosophy. Theosophy is the study of religion, dharma and science. And philosophy too. It's a philosophical viewpoint towards religion and science. Look at it philosophically and see what best you can get for the welfare of humanity. To build up the human. What is home rule movement? Self-governing movement. Govern yourselves. Rule yourself. Don't be under some other power. Be sovereign, be a sovereign power. Today India is a sovereign power. The head of our country is the President of India. We call India as a sovereign power. We rule ourselves. We have elections. We elect the parliament. We elect the assembly. Most of the democratic institutions in India, most of the institutions what we have, they are all democratic. People govern them. This is what you mean by a republic. No foreigner has control over India. We decide everything that pertains to our nation ourselves. We sit, discuss, we arrive at conclusions and we go ahead. So she was a great lady. She was quite famous in India as Shwetha Saraswati. She is a lady, remember very well, a lady from Ireland who came all over here, studied Vedanta, studied Upanishads, studied Bhagwat Gita. Not only she did that, she translated Bhagwat Gita into English, and that is a well-known work which is appreciated all over the world today. A great lady, Annie Besant. We will go by the points here now. Annie Besant, in the bracket you find Shwetha Saraswati. Shwetha means, you know, in Sanskrit it means white. Saraswati of the West. Saraswati from West. See, people of India, they kept her at a very high status for her knowledge, her wisdom and action, karma. Annie Besant was an Irish lady. People of Ireland are called as Irish people, Irish lady, who was born in London in 1847. Very easy to remember. 1947 we got independence. Exactly 100 years ago, a coincidence. See, Annie Besant took birth in Ireland. She came to India and it was a long story there afterwards. She was an active member of the Theosophical Society. It was started by Alcott and Blavatsky, Madame Blavatsky and Colonel Alcott. They did not do much. They started. It went on well. But once Annie Besant took it over, she became the helm of affairs. Things started moving at an accelerated pace. 3. She was well versed in Vedanta philosophy. After coming to India, around the clock, she was a disciple under the Indian gurus and she learned Sanskrit. Because to understand Vedanta and Upanishads, you need the knowledge of Sanskrit. She learned Sanskrit and she started going through all these Vedic texts. She had great respect for Indian culture. She said, "Here I have found a place in this world where I have got what I wanted." The Western culture is materialistic, whereas Indian culture is full of Vedanta, full of desire, full of philosophy which would instruct human beings to give up desire. What does our Vedanta say? Give up desire. The wealth won't take you anywhere. You may need wealth only to lead your life. For your food and clothes, you may need money. Why do you need more money, more wealth? What do you utilize it for? So, follow Vedanta. Give up desire. Believe in God. See what can you do for the rest. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I told in the beginning. Vasudha itself is our Kutumba. It's not our country or state, our family. It is the entire world. All the people of the world are a part of this family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Prime Minister Modi keeps on telling in his speeches. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We do not hate any country in the world. People of this entire world, they are our family. They are a part of our family. Next, she's translated the Bhagwat Gita to English. She started Central Hindu College at Benares. Central Hindu College. Today it is Benares Hindu University. That was started by Annie Besant. We usually say Madan Mohan Malaviya started it. Actually, she started Annie Besant, but the entire spade work later on of building it into a great university was done by Madan Mohan Malaviya, a very, very simple man. He had only one set of clothes with him. With that, he goes round the country, meeting all rich people with a begging bowl, requesting them to donate for building Benares University, and he was a great success. Today, BHU, in short, it is known as Benares University, which was started by Annie Besant, later on built by Madan Mohan Malaviya. He had sacrificed himself for that job. Gandhiji had called him and told, I will give you a responsibility, you can do it, you will do it, and go ahead. And your entire concentration should be on that. We should have a university. We should almost have one of the best universities in the world, and you will lead it, the entire work. It was a mammoth work, and Madan Mohan Malaviya was the right person to take it over. Okay. She started two periodicals, New India and Commonwealth. Don't write Commonwealth. Commonwealth is different. Meaning is one and the same because it's the title she had given to her book, Commonwealth. The Home Rule League was started by Annie Besant. You know, later on Mahatma Gandhiji derives a lot of meaning from the word Home Rule. He gives it a certain other shape as Swadeshi movement, and that really played a great role in securing independence. She was active in the freedom struggle movement. Later on, when she had grown into prominence, she takes an active part in the Home Rule movement in India. She was the first woman president of the Indian National Congress. Every year, when the Congress has its conference, somebody has to preside over. Of all of them, the first woman to become the president of the Indian National Congress, preside over that conference, was Annie Besant. What a great honor, you see. What an achievement. Annie Besant was known as Shwetha Saraswati, a great lady whom India can never forget. Thank you.